Hi, Diane Greco-Allen here, and today we're going to discuss how food choices and eating habits can agitate or change the cycle of a woman's menstrual period. So, when you think about your menstrual period and when it starts in life and what it's actually doing, what's its purpose, why are you having a menstrual period? You're preparing to give birth or have a child. So your body goes through all these things with hormones. So we want to keep in mind what's going on with those sex hormones during your menstrual cycle. So many times I believe that there is a misconception that, women are just very agitated and irritable during this time. And PMS, which is premenstrual syndrome, can take over someone's life if it's not addressed with what your lifestyle and your food choices are. So I don't want you to think about just diet. I want you to think about what's going on in that whole concept of what you're nourishing your body with during that time. Now, because your body is going through a major it is going through a healing process. It's getting rid of some old tissue, and then it's building tissue inside of the uterine wall. So you want to think about those things so that when you're going through that, and just before you're going through that, which is PMS, you're prepared. You need to be prepared with the proper nutrients. Now, I mentioned this in a previous episode, but I really want to build on this because sometimes we don't really grasp what that's all about. So let's talk about what mindful eating is, mindful PMS. Okay, that's what we're going to call this, mindful PMS. Men, if you're listening, I want you to understand not only your mother and what she went through, and that time frame in your lifetime, you may mimic some of what your mother went through. All right. So I know this sounds like, oh, I hate to bring my mom into this. Why are we talking about my mother's menstrual cycles? Because what your mother ate during this time or didn't eat has an influence on your body and the progression going forward with what you crave. All right. So it's not just about craving, it's just about what was given to you, what you need, and how to manage going forward in your life, knowing that there might have been some deficiencies along the line. So let's talk about that idea. That idea is your mother was nurturing you. You wanted to be nurturing. If it was not nurturing and there was a lot of emotional chaos around that time of birth, then you want to try to nurture it in the present state and understand how to get those vitamins and minerals into your body to help to create some smooth, progress going forward. Let's talk about mindful for the women PMS. Okay, we're going to talk about mindful eating during PMS and just throughout the entire cyclic month. Because this is about, the Catholic Church has the rhythm method out there for understanding when to avoid, intercourse for, having children. And then there's the other side of it where we're using all types of substances and hormones to prevent any kind of pregnancy, or you're using intrauterine devices and things like that. So these are a foreign body to the body. So you're either adding or subtracting from the body. A lot of people automatically either have surgeries and things like that to either help. Some people want to have children and they do it in a different way. They do inseminations. There's all kinds of ways we do things, and the body has to respond, correct? So it responds in some way, and you're going to want to nurture your body while it's responding to whatever you choose. All right. I would suggest going more natural with everything because it is a natural process. If you feed your body a bunch of junk food and a bunch of sugars, your body's going to have trouble. And eventually, after you pound it so many times with the wrong substances and with the wrong types of nurturing foods, well, actually, they're not nurturing if they're the wrong types of food. They don't nurture at all. They prevent and cause stress. So there's stress not only to your body, but also to the body that's being, created, which is the fetus. Okay, so let's go over some mindful PMS tips. All right, we're going to think about how we can manage ourselves during that time where we are creating an environment in our uterus for possibly something to be germinated there. All right, so let's talk about preparation. Understanding that this is a monthly cyclic event. It's going to happen every month. I mean, people are taking the pill and they have to follow that every month, right? So we're going to think about that instead of the pill because we want a nurtured body. We're going to think about what foods we're going to supply ourselves during that time. You might need some added nutrients to go through that process and be more mindful and aware of what your body is going through as far as what rest you need. All right, you might need a little bit more mindful rest. You might need to take a little bit more of a magnesium soaked, bath. Just pamper yourself during that time. All right, nothing that I ever learned. I remember going into my the principal's office saying, I was having horrific cramps and I was so uncomfortable and I was eating all wrong. Sometimes I skipped breakfast. Sometimes we went to church before school, we get up and do things like that and skip around with food. And then I wasn't maybe eating the best foods. So, and as far as if you're in a chaotic home situation, sometimes you're not getting the desired sleep. And sometimes if you're working, you're not getting the desired sleep or whatever it is. So let's talk about, so it's preparation. Another thing is all of the energy that's around you. We're going to talk about what you're doing while you're eating and while you're choosing those foods, okay? 5 points of awareness is included with the 5 W's. What are you eating? When are you eating? Why are you eating? Who are you eating with, or are you alone? And there's another one. And you tell me down below what I'm missing. What is that last W that we're missing? What do we need to be aware of? Why? What is going on that makes us want to eat, or that makes us put that food in our mouth? Okay, there's purpose behind it sometimes. Sometimes it's mindless eating. Sometimes it's emotional. Sometimes it's stress related. You can put in below in the comments what your association to food is and why you're eating. But I'm going to tell you more about how during the PMS period, you might crave more because you need it to get through this cycle. So when we talk about energy, we're talking about electronics, we're talking about devices, we're talking about how much interaction with what type of energy, what's around you, what's your environment during your eating. Are you eating with someone? What are you talking about? What are you thinking about? You know, all these things matter. And someone's calling me or alarming me that I need some attention. So, and are you sitting down? Sometimes we forget that we need to relax and allow our body in a resting position to allow that food. Now, if you're in a pancreatic attack right now, sitting down might sound like a terrible thing because it feels like all that pressure you might in pain goes downward when you eat. Pancreatic pain hurts downward, in through the back, and sometimes out to the side. So what you want to think about is when you're eating is give yourself some time and know the management of how much portion size you should have. If you're overdosing on food, it's going to hurt. I'm just, you have to be aware that it is going to hurt if you continue to pound yourself, especially if you're only eating one time a day and you're eating a massive portion, okay? It will hurt and ache into the next day, the next morning. You have to be aware of portion sizes and equally distribute them throughout the day so you have an equal chance of blood sugar being more, instead of irrational, jumping up and down, you want it to be a smooth type of thing so that it makes it to the next meal. Okay, so when you develop a mealtime ritual, what does that look like for you? What is your mealtime ritual? Do you give some intention for what that food is going to do for you at that point in time? Maybe you only have a half an hour at work. How's that going to look? And why is my phone beeping and I didn't turn it off? Okay, so we'll do that. So, you know, just understand, just like that, you might want to turn off your phone while you eat. Just remember that anything that you're doing that's distracting the process of digestion will also cause some stress to your digestive absorption and to the entire process of digestion. And how is this related to your PMS? Let's continue. So we're connecting with food on the type of food, we're connecting with it. We want to actually be in the process of meal prep and planning that meal prep so that you know, I'm ready. I have food to nourish my body. I started out at the beginning of the week with food to prep my body. It's called meal prep, just like you would think of all those preppy people at school. Well, guess what? Meal prep is a good PMS prep, okay? You want to be prepared. Take food with all your senses. Okay, take it in, taste it, chew it, feel it, and rotate. You don't want to eat the same food every single day. If you're eating oatmeal for breakfast every single day, eggs, I'm going to say you can, you know, adjust that as needed. Poultry and eggs, okay, just understand that those proteins are in products too that you might have eaten throughout your life. So you might have built up some tolerance or intolerances to some of the foods that you relied on for such a long time. Okay, so now we're going to be very gentle and careful with our body. We're going to eat with intention. What is your intention while you eat? So most people who were raised in some kind of Christian or Catholic or any thankful way give gratitude for their meal. But there's an intention you can set for each meal, like you would an intention for your day. What is my intention? I'm going to be strong today and get through this day. I'm going to stay focused today. I'm going to clearly, you know, plan out my day. Now, we want to listen to our body. If you're eating something and you start feeling like pain or discomfort, maybe that's telling you something. Is your limit already, you've gone to a tolerance level? Understanding that sometimes you just want to keep on shoveling things in, and maybe it's like, wait a minute, something's not right. Ooh, yeah, my back. Ooh, I'm sweating. What's going on? Listen and feel your body. Your body talks to you to tell you if you're doing something good or bad. All right. And release the dieting mindset. Like I said, it's not about diet, it's about functionality. It's about digestion and absorption. And if you're not digesting your food and you don't have enough stomach acid, you are in a place where you're going to have all kinds of issues because things are up here. All right. Now, release the dieting mindset along with giving yourself that love for what you eat. Now, one day you decide, I'm going to have a little bit of that dessert. Okay, I want to taste that. Okay, it's okay. All right, just know that you don't want to get stuck on relying on that sweet stuff because the more natural options are going to be more beneficial for things to digest and move through. Okay. Now, and also with cramping, you won't believe that you can reduce the pain of cramping by eating the proper foods. And you might need a little bit more magnesium during that time. So, think about those things. There's some other great, wonderful body supplies, I want to call them, which are supplements, that you might need during that time. All right. And I'm not going to get into it today, but there are some things that can help women get through these stages of acute sloughing off of the vaginal wall or whatever you're dealing with related to the menstrual cycle. Okay, mindful chewing we talked about. Some breathing as a part of relaxing during the process and just giving yourself some pacing time to breathe while you eat. You don't want to be like shovel, 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 and not even, pause in between. Pause, give yourself some time to eat, but don't extend it so that it's so long that you're eating into the next time frame. So it's a windowed time to eat, all right? And you want to try to get the micro and macronutrients in, which are proteins, fats, carbohydrates, and then all those wonderful vegetations that we have, fruits and vegetables. You just don't want to overdo it. So that's why we're talking about your hand size. Try to keep it within your hand size. Little kids have smaller hands, they have smaller stomachs, big, as you're growing. And then when you get to be about 27, 28, you're pretty much, you might be done way before that, but that time, it's almost like, okay, this is how much I'm going to need for each meal that I eat during the day. Then we're going to practice that, okay? For each meal, we're going to practice. There are some people out there now getting with longer intermittent fastings. There is some goodness to that, but if you do this too often, you don't want to throw your body into constant starvation, okay? Some people are fasting for 72 hours. I'm not somebody who agrees with that, but it may work once a year or twice a year, okay? I'm not going to disagree that that might be something that can be done intermittently throughout your year, but same with super detoxes. Be very, very careful because your body still has to deal with what you're doing, and it can advance your age a little bit. So, Diane Greco-Allen, food, relationship, and pain management coach. These are my PMS tips, mindful PMS, and knowing to nourish and love yourself and pamper yourself during that time so that when you decide, or if you decide to have a child, it might go a lot smoother. and maybe you won't have to have a C-section like I did 4 times. So hope you have a great day. Mindful PMS tips, and put any comments below, like my channel, give me a thumbs up or whatever you would like to say. And yeah, my teeth are my teeth, and these are natural. And I haven't done anything unusual. I'm trying to be as natural as possible. Have a great day.